and the amount of young men that are being shot dead left, right and centre with firearms, and now women. When this woman's being shot in that back garden in Old Swan, it brings right back the murder of Lucy Hargreaves. Lucy Hargreaves, innocent young mum in a house. Her boyfriend was a bit of a dog, bit of a rat. You had 3 individuals from Highton. I've spoke about this in the past. They know who they are. They're lifed off. Nothing can happen to them. One's dead. But Parle and what's the other 2 kids' names from Highton people? I forgot the names. But anyway, then 3 kicked the door in for an issue that stemmed from a young girl getting put over the bonnet of a car years and years ago. Tony Downs' family held a serious, hateful mindset towards a young man called Gary Campbell. Gary Campbell, years ago, a little rat off the estate, was a car robber. Whilst he's in one of these cars, unfortunately, he hit a young girl. The girl died. I think it was a young girl. Two decades later, now, Tony Downs, gangster, seeks revenge, participates in a conspiracy with Kirk Bradley. 2 of them are currently lifed off, never going to be free ever again, basically. Kevin Parle went abroad and got killed off because he was the only leak for them getting convicted. Is that fact? I'm not going to confirm that for Mr. Binley. But anyway, here we go, we carry on. They've gone through the front door of young Lucy Hargreaves. Young Lucy Hargreaves is on the couch asleep with a duvet cover over her. They go in with a shotgun, blast her and set the house on fire, believing that Lucy was Gary Campbell, the boyfriend. Gary Campbell, the boyfriend, was upstairs. Now that murder of that young, innocent mother of 3, I think, shook the city of Liverpool, just like Rhys Jones did, just like James Bulger did, just like young Ava did, just like Liam Kelly did, just like Craig Barker did, and just like another 20 names. I could be here all night, couldn't I? No. And this is what I'm screaming about. The city of Liverpool. Look how many unsolved murders there is that should have made every man in that city stand up and pay attention to what their kids are getting raised in. It never. Or it did, but it never had the long-term commitment or the long-term passion to create change upon our streets. And the ones that popped in to create change was materialistic, had money on the mind, no true intentions. Got in, bit of dough, went quiet, haven't heard them since. So here we are, a couple of decades later, couple of months after young Ava, couple of days after that lad who's being blasted, and the rest. Couple of months after 3 or 4 convictions where young men have been lifed off with recommendations over 20 years. We've got another woman shot dead in a garden. Who is it? What is it? What's the motive? What happened there? Could be a multitude of reasons, couldn't it? The fact that it's in the house and it's in the back garden may suggest it's been a domestic. May suggest. It also may suggest you've had a couple of rats and this woman might have been attached to a house that might have had a bit of valuables in there. or attached to, speaking hypothetically here, not saying she was, definitely not saying she was. She might have had a boyfriend who was attached to a criminal network, and you had little rats looking to target him, and in the process she's come unstuck. It might be a rat who's in prison, access to a smartphone. He's had money in this house, now he's jailed. Something's got to be done. You've got a little thug from around the corner being paid $2,000. There's all sorts of reasons, but I'm going to put it down to a domestic, and the individual that's involved is the woman and someone attached to the criminal network. But at the same time, when I'm hearing that street on the news, I'm thinking, is that the same street where that fella got stabbed by that young woman months and months ago? But I'm not too sure. Do you remember a fella called something Bacon or something like that? Got stabbed to death. Popular fella. But I'm not too sure. I don't think it was. But let's not forget him. He's just another person that's being stabbed to death. Although it was domestic. So what? It just shows you the state of societies, communities and households up and down the country right now. Who's to blame? Who's put a metric ton of weight upon everyone's shoulders for the past 2.5 years? And all of a sudden lifted it off. Once my thoughts on AJ. I'm getting a few questions coming up here, so I'm gonna Anthony Joshua. What a legend in British boxing. So what, he had a tear-jerk reaction. He's allowed to. It's the first one you've seen in his whole career. He's never been a flamboyant type. He's always been the quiet type, the secretive type, the charity-driven, kind-hearted man. Pedigree boxer. He came from the streets. He had his issues years ago. Participated in a little party lifestyle, the drinks, some drugs. But he changed the narrative in his life, chose a better way, committed to it, dedicated himself to it. Before you knew it, he was in the Olympics and showed everyone how much of a good boxer he is and a good sportsman. And that little tear-jerk reaction at the end, which was well-deserved, does not make him a bad sportsman. And it doesn't matter what anyone says or any little jealous, envious people that's trying to provoke him right through his training camp, go right up to his press conference, still trying to get in his head and sabotage and win. But it is what it is. What a guy. And if you're a boxing advocate, and if you think you're well rehearsed in boxing, and if you've watched boxing for the last 30 years, even if it's in dribs and drabs, if you've had some sort of focus on boxing for the majority of your life and you're not giving that man the respect and credit that he deserves as a great British boxer, you're in the head, aren't you? You're that divided. It is what it is. Move on. What a guy Joshua is. Anthony Joshua, sorry.